Hey y'all, what's going on? Thank you for tuning into another episode of Let's Chat with Quin. I'm gonna be real with y'all today. I didn't know what to talk about until I started looking around to see what was going on today, and something came across my screen that I felt very obligated to talk about. So I was looking online and I seen that a whistleblower from the FBI has came out and basically stated that allegedly there are FBI agents that are getting rid of the Epstein files. Right. The FBI is allegedly getting rid of Jeffrey Epstein files. Now, for those of you that don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is, I'm going to give you a little rundown. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible, but if you want to find out more than what I can cover, I would highly suggest there are different documentaries about him on Netflix, probably Hulu, like you can go on TikTok, YouTube. You can find a lot of stuff about who he was, what's going on, if you want a deep, in-depth explanation on who Jeffrey Epstein is and what's going on. But I'm going to give y'all the quick bullet points, okay? So, pretty much, from what I've gathered, basically he was a financer for billionaires, elite people. I've seen that apparently, I'm not, again, this is all alleged. The only thing that are facts is what they were sentenced with because this did go to court. But basically, he was a financer. And I guess a financer is somebody that handles people's money or they finance them with money for whatever reason. And it was said that he financed for two billionaires. Allegedly, the billionaires paid him $158 million. And this sounds like the starting point of their job, of his job. Like, how do you stumble upon two billionaires and they just happen to pay you $158 million, allegedly? Like, that's too much of a coincidence for me. And I don't believe in coincidences. So, I don't know how that, I don't even know, that's just what they say. But he was a financer. That was his job title. That is apparently where his money came from, because it seems like he just appeared out of nowhere and had money and knew all these famous people. But we're going to get into it. He was a financer for billionaire people that have money, celebrities. He had a girlfriend named Ghislaine Maxwell. That's how you say her name. She came from money. Her dad was rich. He had a printing press in Britain called the Daily Mirror. She came from money. Now, it's crazy how everything lines up with the people. Like, if you really look into their whole story, like each individual person, you would think that it was destined for them to be to be linked together. The father was unalived by falling off of a boat. Now, it was said that he had some shady businesses allegedly going on. Who knows? Who knows? Because think about it. He ran a printing press. He owned a printing press. That's basically owning a newspaper. So he was able to put out whatever stories or whatever he wants to put out about, things that are going on in their area or whatever. Listen, the press media is very powerful. Like, it can do a lot of damage to a lot of people. So, who knows? But anyways, her dad was rich. So, pretty much she was just known because of her dad. She came here. She, did a couple of things. But then she was mainly known for being a socialite, being out in the, partying and being around the ritzy ditzy people and doing this and yada, yada, yada. So somehow she stumbles upon Jeff. It wasn't clear to me how exactly they met or whatever, but she stumbled upon him. From what I've gathered, it sounds like to me Jeff was already into some weird stuff, and she like was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I condone in that, or I don't mind that you do that. I'll even in fact help you do it. And that's pretty much what she did. It was said that he was recruiting, and I'm going to try to, watch the words that I say, but it was said that he was recruiting younger girls, like 14, young girls. And she was helping him. She was basically the recruiter. How it started was she started getting the girls, and then they would appoint one of the girls to be the recruiter. And it started off as weird massages, and then, it escalated to SA. And they got paid for it. Like, he would pay them for this. Like, first he'd pay them for the massages, and then he would pay them for the other stuff. And they were making a lot of, I guess from, the financing or whatever they're doing, that's how they're funding this, because eventually he had multiple homes. He had an island. He had private planes that he owned, which is where this whole list comes into play. And when the FBI whistleblower is alleging that there was things being deleted, the Epstein list was allegedly part of the things that was being deleted. And we're going to get into that in a little bit, but yeah, they had a whole operation going on. And they were allegedly, I can't even say allegedly on this part, because it did go to court. It was proved, obviously, something happened. So they were taking these young girls to their houses, the island, wherever, and they were doing a lot of bad stuff, like a lot of bad things. They were doing a lot of things that obviously were illegal, obviously was not right. Like, it just wasn't right. And like I said, y'all can go and watch the documentaries to get all the these documentaries are in full detail. Like, a lot of, obviously the girls that are in question or was going through all of this, clearly they're older now. There's I believe 8 girls came forward and told their story about what was going on. People around them told the story about Jeff and his girlfriend and all this stuff. Like, you can go in there and look this stuff up. And also, like, you can, all this information is easily accessible. So you won't have no problem finding it. But anyway, by the way, all this, from what the records say, started back in 2002. So yeah, it started this was a very long time ago. So where the list comes into play, like I said, he owned private planes, and he was friends with the rich people. And I wanted to throw this in there as well. It was always looked at, Jeff, he had the money, but Elaine, she had the connections. Like, she was the one that knew all of the rich people, the celebrities. Like, again, she was a party girl. She was out here mixing and mingling with everybody. So it made sense for them to come together so Jeff can, get introduced to these rich people and be their financer. And through that, it is said that these high-named people would use his private jet. Now, it's not said that if he was allowing them to use the jet for them to, say if they, want to fly from here to there. They don't want to fly commercial. Maybe Jeff gives them a discount, so they rather go through Jeff. And they use his planes. And maybe they were just flying around and it wasn't, nothing really to be worried about. But at the same time, before Jeff was unalived, he was claiming that he had information about very important people. When he was being questioned about all this, he was saying that he knows a lot of things about a lot of people, and he was going to tell it. So, and again, that's what he claimed. It's not known to be true. But if it is true, I can see why they don't want this list to come out. Because who knows what information he was talking about, and who knows what other documents or anything that was related to this case that the FBI was allegedly getting rid of. It can be anything. But the crazy part about it is how the series of events with Jeff unfolded. Like I said, these are things that they were charged with. But the crazy part about it is Jeff never got the chance to get sentenced because he unalived himself. All right, listen. Jeff was arrested July 2019. Jeff was found unalived in his cell August of 2019. Not August 2020, August 2019. That means that man was literally only in there for a month. Who knows? Maybe a couple weeks between July and August, because it didn't say exactly you know what I'm saying? Well, and if it did, I didn't go into all of that, but let's say a month. Let's say a month. He was only in there for a month. And all of a sudden, he's not around. And it's crazy how, you know, he was threatening to tell about whatever these people were doing. You get arrested for, like, you've been doing this for years, and then all of a sudden you get arrested, and then all of a sudden you don't even make it to trial. Like, you just decide, oh no, that's it. When you could have got a lawyer and aired all these people out. I don't know. I just thought it was weird that that happened within that amount of time. And when I looked further into it, they said that the cameras that were in front of his cell all of a sudden malfunctioned around that time, which sounds weird to me. Like, how did all of a sudden the cameras in front of his cell was malfunctioned? Was there any other cameras that were malfunctioned around that area? Who knows? But also, the guards that were, I guess, in charge of, you know, watching him and making sure that this doesn't happen, they were actually charged with falsifying records and conspiracy. So exactly what records were they falsifying? Were they falsifying the fact that somebody was in his cell? Because it is said that at first when he got there, he did have a roommate. And it was said that he was supposed to always have a roommate because they didn't want him to be by himself because they thought maybe he might have been a risk. But when the roommate was moved, or cellmate, I'm saying roommate like they in college, but when the cellmate was moved to a different cell, he was supposed to get a replacement cellmate, and he never did. So let's just take away the conspiracy part about it and say, okay, so if he did unalive himself, the fact that you guys are saying that not only was he required to have a roommate in the cell with him at all times, but also you claim that there was a concern that he was going to unalive himself, and you took no extra precaution to make sure he was watched at all times when that was what you were assigned to do. Because it sounds like whenever this happened to him, y'all was on lunch. Y'all wasn't around. Y'all was out. Who knows what happened? But the fact of the matter was, y'all wasn't there when he did that. If you guys were instructed to be watching him, and he was instructed to have a roommate a cellmate at all times. I don't know. It don't make sense to me. And then on top of that, okay, the two guards that was held responsible for whatever happened, yeah, they got sentenced. If you consider 100 hours of community service a sentence, then okay. And when you take into consideration what 100 hours is less than 5 days. So, I guess if you think that's punishment, then hey, I guess. But also then, and I'm going to post the pictures. When you look at his cell and you look at where they say that he allegedly unalived himself, how can you do that from the bottom bunk? How are you doing that? And look, I'm just going to post the picture. I'm going to let y'all see it. And I'll let you guys decide what you think happened. Or do you think it was possible for him to do what they said that he did? Because I don't believe it. I don't believe he did that. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. It's just too much going on around the whole situation. And then all of a sudden, that happens. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. At all. So, in turn of that happening, obviously all of the charges, all of the blame, which I'm not saying that she doesn't have any blame on her own, because I do believe in fact that, you know, the girlfriend, she had a hand in it. And I honestly, I want you guys, if you really want to know more about her and her family, like, I highly suggest you guys go watch any type of, well, not any type of video, but like, go do your research. That's all I'm gonna say. Go do your research. I can only tell you certain things, but you gotta, you know, take it upon yourself to go further into detail, because again, I'm trying to shed some light on certain things that's going on, but it's up to you guys to take it a step further. And if you really want to know about the things that I be talking about, go research it yourself. And the things that they were, you know, articles and things that was out in the air about her and her family and her father, mainly her father, like, that's who y'all need to go look into. Her father. Like, it seems like she already was coming from this type of environment where it wasn't nothing to her. Like, these girls were nothing to her at all. And what I didn't understand was, if this is supposed to be, like, it's like, were you guys even really together? Like, was that really your boyfriend? Because you are enabling this behavior. Like, you're enabling these people coming into your house, and then you're enabling him, like, being a PDF. And that's crazy. Like, you guys got to understand, like, these are not grown women we are talking about when this happened. Like, these are little girls, like, not even high school. Some of these girls weren't even in high school. It's just crazy. So she pretty much ate up all the charges for everything that happened. And they gave her 20 years. I don't understand why she didn't get get life, because you was doing it too. We just going to put it plain and simple. You was doing it too. You was helping them. You was doing it. You was cool with it. And it's weird. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I'm not meant to get it, because I would never partake or condone in anything like that. And I'll say all this because, you know, this just happened to, well, not all of this, but the whole situation with the whistleblower, and that's pretty much, you know, all I was covering today. That just I just came upon that today. I just seen it today. It looked like it just happened today. I'm going to do an update video. I'm going to try to keep watch. Well, I'm not going to try. I'm going to keep watch of, you know, how this plays out and what information does get out. And if they release anything, or what happens to the whistleblower, does he all of a sudden catch pneumonia or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to keep up with this story, and I'm going to do an update video on this, because finally somebody is bringing up the fact that, you know, it was so much talk about this list, the Epstein list, Epstein Island, this, that, and the third. Beyonce, Jay-Z, all these people supposedly on Oprah, like, even our president, allegedly. It's like, it kind of went away. All the talk about the list went away, and now it's like, now somebody's like not only somebody, but somebody within the organization that would have the information on all this, is like, nah, y'all are bugging. Y'all sitting here erasing files or allegedly doing whatever it is that you guys are doing to get rid of parts of this case or the list or whatever, because I'm going to tell y'all right now, there is a flight list. There is a flight list, and you can look it up. But I'm going to tell you now, when you look it up, the only name that's going to be on there is his. All the other names are blocked out. You're not going to see no other names on there. Like, I'm telling you, do the research. Go look this stuff up. Go look it up for yourself. And it's not going to be on no BS site. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to be on it. Go look it up if you want to see it for yourself. But you're not going to find any names on it. It's only going to be his name. So it's like, why are those names blocked out? I mean, I don't get it. What's the secret? What is so secretive about this? Is it because of the extent of his case, how serious it is? The people that use his planes don't want to be associated with him. But it's like, come on, bro. Like, I know y'all knew this was going on. Like, and if he is telling the truth about how he has information on certain people, and this information pertains to the stuff he was doing on that island and at his houses, it makes sense. It all makes sense why everything happened the way it did. And my whole thing is, I don't know if Ghislaine is saying anything. I haven't really looked into that because really, like, she got her sentence. I don't really want to dwell on her too much, but I wonder if she, like, plans on saying, like, you know, well, since he's not here to, you know, put the list out or say who was on the list or who was doing what, I'm going to say anything, but then maybe she's too scared to say something. I don't know. But whatever it is about this list, I kind of just hope it comes out. I honestly hope that they say whether or not these people were doing anything or involved, because we are at a time right now where I feel like anything anybody's ever done is going to come out. Like, that's how I feel. Anything that's been going on is, I mean, I'm not even going to say come out. I'm going to say people are now paying attention to the things that are going on. That's been going on. Because that's why, like, I've been going back and forth in my head about, like, do I want to do a video on Diddy and all the stuff that's going on with him? Because let me tell you something. I didn't, like, when all that stuff was going on with Cassie and everything was coming to the forefront of that whole situation, I wasn't surprised at all. Like, I'm just like, oh, finally y'all finding out what the heck he was doing. Finally y'all figured out, like, what I've been murmuring about in the background for all this time. Like, I've been telling people. So it's like, I kind of don't want to do a video on him because it's like, I already knew what was going on. All I'm going to be doing, in my opinion, is just repeating the same things that everybody else has been saying for all these years. And I really don't want to do that. I mean, I probably will do a little bit of something as to when his case starts, which I believe it starts May 5th. And I will be tuning into what's going on with that. And I might do a little commentary video about, you know, how I feel with whatever comes out with the case, or how the case, first of all, let's see if he even has that date. Let's see if they keep that date, because you know how the courts play. The court date will come, and then once it gets close to the court date, they'll reschedule it for another date. They'll move it to another time. So if he has his day in court in May, then yes, I will, you know, do an update video, because sometimes people don't want to watch through all that. They don't want to watch through all that. Sometimes they just want to get the bullet points of what's going on. Maybe hear somebody's opinion about it that's not on the news or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely do an update video on what goes on with that. But mark my words when I say this, let's pay attention to see if he even has a court date. Let's pay attention. And my whole thing is, everybody's like, oh, why should we care about Diddy? Why should we care about this? Why should we care about that? We should care for the simple fact of, there are people on two sides of his situation. There are people that are saying he didn't do any of this stuff. They're just trying to pin anything on him because he was going to buy Ciroc, or he was going to buy whatever liquor company or whatever it is that he was about to do. And with the whole situation of him doing everything that he did with them, like, they're on the side of he didn't do anything. Then there's people that's on the side of, yes, he did. He did that stuff. He needs to have his day in court. And then again, there's the people that's in the middle that's like, who cares? And like I said, the reason why you should care is because if he didn't do any of this stuff and he was locked up and accused of all these horrible, terrible things, don't you think that, yeah, that is important to expose the criminal justice system of how they wrongfully accuse people and how you are guilty until proven innocent and not the other way around? Then yeah, that is a reason to care. That is a reason to watch and see what's going on. And then at the same time, it's like, if he is found guilty, maybe it's like a little lesson as to why you should pay more attention to your kids. And I understand that the stuff that's going on with him may or may not pertain to children, but it might in fact. And that's why it's like, people have kids that are growing up and kids that want to do sports and want to do music and want to do this and want to do that. Like, you got to make sure that you pay attention to this kind of stuff, because then you know when your kids and stuff grow up that you need to keep an extra eye on them and not just put them in the hands of the wrong people because you want them to get further in their career or further in life or whatever it is that they want to do. You can't just not think about that kind of stuff. So like I said, is it going to make or break your life? Probably not. It's not going to affect you in any way, but it's still something to about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still something to be like, okay. And again, this is only for the people that care about it. So like I said, I'm just going to cover that when everything unfolds with that. We will see how it progresses as the weeks go on. But that is really all I have for today. I will see y'all next time.